Why did Apple create the 15-inch MacBook Air? Hey, what's up guys, it's TechSumer talking to you here. And in today's video, I want to answer the big question. Why did Apple create the 15-inch MacBook Air? And I think I've got the answer. As well as the fact that Apple created the iPhone 14 Plus, you can answer all of these questions with the same fact. Apple wants to sell you products. And which device is better to sell than a big, cheap device? Because everyone in the tech world, and even out of automotive industry and house industry, everyone thinks that bigger is better. And Apple is not alone on this fact. If you're going to the store, or if you're going to your friend's house somewhere, most of people have big phones. Most of people prefer big cars. Most of people prefer to live on big homes. And Apple knows this, and that's why they created the iPhone 14 Plus. So, again, the fact that Apple created the 15-inch MacBook Air routes to the same answer. So, if you are excited, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get started. So, the 15-inch MacBook Air now closes the MacBook lineup together with the 13-inch MacBook Air. Apple, for the first time in years, has two sizes for the MacBook Air. When they first launched the MacBook Air, they had the 11-inch MacBook Air for a while and the 13-inch MacBook Air, the main computer. They completely killed the 11-inch MacBook Air and released the 12-inch MacBook in 2015. But still, there was not a single chip MacBook for a long time. Apple just released the MacBook Air with 13 inches, not more. But in 2023 on WWDC, Apple released the new 15-inch MacBook Air. And this computer is not just more than a 13-inch MacBook Air bigger. Just bigger. Has more speakers, has a bigger battery, but with the bigger screen, it ends up having the same battery life, which is about 18 hours, has the same specs, the same M2 chip, the same speaker system, the same keyboard, the same mouse, the same trackpad, the same I/O. It's everything the same as the 13-inch MacBook Air. Just like the iPhone 14 Plus is the same to the iPhone 14, the 15-inch MacBook Air has no advantages other than the bigger screen over its brother, the 13-inch MacBook Air. So the real question is, why would you pay $200 more for this computer just to get 2 inches or even 1.5 inches on your screen? Well, because most people associate a bigger computer is better. I don't care about the specs, I don't care about the price, just give me the cheapest, biggest computer you got. And this also applies for the iPhone 14 Plus. That's why Apple decided to kill the iPhone 13 mini just to get the iPhone 14 Plus on the lineup. Because before, people were entering the Apple store and saying, which is the biggest iPhone you got? And which is the cheapest? Apple would go and say, the biggest iPhone we got is the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which costs you $1,200 or $1,100. It's very expensive, I know, but it's the biggest we got. And most people would say, okay, give me one. But there were some people that were conscious about their budget that would say, okay, leave it, and left the store, leaving that phone unchecked and not buying an iPhone. Apple wanted to solve that issue, and they saw that most people weren't buying the iPhone 13 mini on Apple stores. No one was entering the Apple store and saying, give me the small phone, the smallest phone that you got. I don't care about the price. No, they were just entering the store and asking for the biggest phone. That's why Apple created the iPhone 14 Plus, and that's why I think in the next 1 to 2 years, when people actually understand which phone this is, and when Apple drops the price on these phones, then it will sell like hotcakes. The first year was kind of low because Apple decided to price this phone way out of range, like totally too close to the iPhone 14 Pros. But I think they will correct this mistake next year. So let's see what happens. But again, they corrected with the MacBook Air 15-inch. Like, this computer has come at the perfect price, $200 more than the MacBook Air 13-inch, but still very, very far away from the MacBook Pro 14-inch, which has the M2 Pro chip. So why would you buy the 15-inch MacBook Air, and why did Apple create it? Well, for most people that are watching this video, if you are a normal consumer, then you are probably thinking that this is not a good deal. I made a video talking about that if you don't buy the base model 15-inch MacBook Air, it's not worth it to buy one, because you can get an M1 Pro refurbished, an M2 Pro refurbished for around $1,500, $1,400, which is much, much better, has a mini LED screen, has more ports, more I/O, the build quality is better, the screen is so much better, like guys, it's 120 Hz ProMotion, mini LED, the performance is incredible, the GPU is much more powerful. Why would you buy the 15-inch MacBook Air now in 2023? Completely new with the M2 chip, which is already 1 year old. Next year, when M3 comes out, it will be completely outdated. Well, easy. Because most people are entering Apple stores and asking, give me the biggest laptop you got. Not MacBook, laptop. Yes, I just want the laptop from Apple and I want the biggest one. Which one it is? Well, Apple presents two options. We have this 15-inch MacBook Air, which starts at $1299, really good price. And then we have this 16-inch MacBook Pro, which starts at $2499. This is our lineup of big laptops. Choose one. Most people will choose the 15-inch MacBook Air. And if you are thinking, oh, why did Apple create this? They will ruin their sales of the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which were much more expensive, and so they would gain much more money. You are wrong. Because now, Apple, instead of selling like 15% or 20% of those customers on MacBooks, they can sell up to 80 to 90%. So much more volume in sales. Don't forget that most people cannot afford to buy a $2,500 computer. But a $1,200 one, much closer to an iPhone, most people nowadays are used to that price and they will buy one. That's why Apple created this 15-inch MacBook Air. Not to sell to you, Apple fanboys that watch all the videos and know everything about the specs, what's worth it or what's not. But to the normal consumer that's just going to the store, doesn't know about anything about MacBooks, prices, specs, how can you spec it out? No, just decides that I want a new Mac, I want to buy one new, and I want a big one for the cheapest price possible. They go into the store, the Apple seller just says, we have this $1,200 or $1,300 MacBook 15-inch, it's a MacBook Air, it's extremely light, has our newest M2 chip, almost the same chip as the M2 Pro or M2 Max found with the 16-inch version. It's a little bit slower on the GPU, but if you're not a pro user, and the guy says, no, I'm just looking for something to do my email, to do Safari, Chrome, browsing the web, streaming videos, and the Apple Store guy says, oh, that's perfect, this is the perfect computer. Don't you want to spend a little bit more to get extra storage? 256 might cutting it very low, and the person says, for sure, give me a 512 or even a 1 terabyte of storage. Probably they will upgrade the RAM if they are into it and they know what RAM is, but most likely they won't, and they will buy probably the 512 or 1 terabyte of storage MacBook Air 15-inch. They will spend around $1,600 and they will be extremely happy with that purchase because they thought that they bought a $1,000 cheaper computer than the 16-inch. They don't make the comparison between the 15-inch and the 14-inch. No, they just make the comparison between big computers, the computers that the Apple guy presents it, which is the 15-inch Air and the 16-inch Pro. And they think they just actually saved $1,000 getting a 1 terabyte version of storage, and they treat it like an iPhone. So buying an iPhone is much different than buying a computer. You don't have to worry about the chip, you don't have to worry about the RAM. No, just get the size that you want and about the cameras. Well, about the computer, it's different. But most people now don't buy computers based on the specs, based on the RAM, and based on the storage and all of that. No, they just focus how light it is, how portable it is, how good the screen is, which in every Mac the screen is incredible, if it's made from plastic, aluminum, and then if it's fast enough and if it has enough storage. That's where the most people actually care about a laptop these days. So Apple has made a very smart move creating this 15-inch MacBook Air. On the business standpoint, I understand why they did it. And I also understand why they created the iPhone 14 Plus and killed the iPhone 13 mini. If it was for me, I wouldn't kill the iPhone 13 mini and I wouldn't create a 15-inch MacBook Air, at least at the price it is, or at least I would create it, but keep the price differences between the 14-inch and the 15-inch much lower. But again, I understand why they did it. It's a ladder, so when you start upgrading on the Apple website, the 15-inch Air, you will think, oh, I'm so close to the 14-inch Pro, let me just get the Pro. And you actually upscaled the purchase, you spend more money than you would actually do, and Apple sold you on a more expensive computer. But again, you need to be very cautious. Like, I know you are watching this video, you understand tech, you won't make this mistake when buying a MacBook. But most people will, and that's where I try to warn everybody. But this is a very smart move, and a very good move on a business standpoint from Apple. So that's why they did it. That's why they created the 15-inch MacBook Air. Because most people were entering stores and they were asking for the biggest laptop available. They were presented with the 16-inch Pro, which costed $2,500 minimum, and they were thinking, oh my god, that's too much for me. 10% of people were buying, 90% people were leaving and buying a Windows laptop. Now, with a version that starts at $1,300 or $1,299, Apple can present this computer and 80% of people that go into the store, they will see it, they will buy it, instead of going and buying a Windows computer. This is a share-grabbing product. So Apple wants to create more volume, sell more computers, and grab more market share of the market. I think this will be the best seller on the Mac lineup, the Mac lineup in general, and in my opinion, will be the best selling laptop of 2023/2024. I do believe this computer will sell like hotcakes. Just like the 13-inch MacBook Air did, this will be the best Mac for everyone that is entering the store, looking for one and buying one. I think this will be probably the only Mac that Apple will sell on Apple stores. It's big, it's cheap, and is actually very, very good quality. So I think this is the happy middle ground that Apple found to put it on the stores. But still, if you want my advice, I would buy the 13-inch MacBook Air, the complete base model, or I would try to find an M1 Pro or M2 Pro refurbished 14-inch MacBook Pro. Other than that, I don't believe there's nothing worth it on those price brackets. But for normal people, this will be an amazing, amazing machine. As if you want my opinion on the iPhone 14 Plus, it sucks. Don't get it. Get the iPhone 14 Pro or get the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The same phone as the iPhone 14 Plus, but with better build quality and better cameras. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now you know why Apple created the 15-inch MacBook Air. Don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Tech Summer talking to you here. Bye bye.